thought I was going to be just drawing blood, not procuring tissue from aborted fetuses. They partner with Planned Parenthood and they get part of the money.
So I say, okay, what are you looking to supply today?
You know, you can imagine where they would run with this, like, you're selling body, you know.
My name's Holly O'Donnell. I'm 24 and I'm a phlebotomist and an ex-procurement technician. For those who don't know what a phlebotomist is, basically you draw blood for a living. I was looking to help the public. I mean, I'm looking to make blood draws easy for children, for people. I'm very passionate about people. I find myself, I'm very humane and very sensitive. I thought I was going to be just drawing blood, not procuring tissue from aborted fetuses. I basically just went on Craigslist, typed in the word phlebotomist, lab technician, and I clicked the link to apply. It said procurement technician. I went to the website, it said StemExpress, and apply now. I applied. It was really short. It wasn't even an application. It was your name, your phone number. That was it. And I got an email back and I interviewed. And they don't even let you know in the interview what you're doing. StemExpress is a company that hires procurement techs to draw blood and dissect dead fetuses and sell the parts to researchers. They partner with Planned Parenthood and they get part of the money because we pay them to use their facilities and they get paid from it. They do get some kind of benefit. We were asked to procure certain tissues like brain, liver, thymus, pancreas, heart, lungs, skin, pretty much anything on the fetus. It's basically huge trafficking of fetal tissues.
Right. So I'll just take a couple minutes.
Sure.
And Brianna is my assistant.
Hi.
So,
Oh, you're warm. I want to hang on to you.
so I was talking to Mary about what I'm trying to offer to clinics as a procurement service, and she said, you know all about this.
Oh, we have already a relationship with
you-
ABR.
Oh, okay.
So that the sort of thing you're doing?
It's a
Yeah.
startup.
Uh-huh.
So there's already a service there. I'm thinking with my
We've
business
been
head that.
using them for over 10 years, really
Okay.
a long time. So I just kind of renegotiated the contract. They're doing the I can't remember what they call it, but the big collection for government level collections and things like that. So I'm trying to think of other providers in our town.
So I don't want to sound like a salesman here, but I'm going to. So we return a portion of our fees to the clinics.
Oh.
So just as a way of thank you for this, just trying to establish.
Right, get a toe
Yes,
in and
yes.
make it
Right.
all right.
They weren't looking for a compassionate individual at all. They were just looking for someone who could get as much money, as many samples. I think that's why they were interested in me as a phlebotomist, because I can draw quick. So I think that they looked at that and they wanted someone who could get the numbers up. The owner, Kate Dyer, she used to be a procurement tech, and then she went and started her own business. And now she's making a lot of money based off the poor girls who half the time don't even want to get abortions. It's a pretty sick company.
Okay, so I'd like what would you expect for intact tissue? What sort of compensation? What sort of?
Well, why don't you start by telling me what you're used to paying?
Okay, I don't think so. I would like to know what would make you happy. What would work for you?
Well, you know, in negotiations, the person who throws out the figure first is at a loss, right? So.
No, I don't look at it that way. I know you want to play that game. I get it, but no, I want
lowball because I'm used to low things from.
You know what? If you lowball, I'll act pleasantly surprised, and you'll know it's a lowball.
Okay.
What I want to know is what would work for you. Don't lowball it.
Okay.
Tell me what you really.
$75 a specimen.
procure, they would get a certain percentage. The main nurse was always trying to make sure that we got our specimens. No one else really cared, but the main nurse did, because she knew that Planned Parenthood was getting compensated. So she wanted to make sure that everything was going great for us, it was going great for them, and for us, and it was going great for them.
And are we agreed that $100 would keep you happy?
Well, let me agree to find out from other affiliates in California what they're getting, and if they're getting substantially more, then we can discuss it again.
Yes.
And if this is in the ballpark, then that's fine. If it's still low, then we can talk about it. I want a Lamborghini. I said I want a Lamborghini.
Don't we all, right?
Yeah, exactly.
There was one instance where I know that one of the girls was working at the clinic, and she was anti-abortion, but I'm not sure why she was working there. And she knew that I communicated with the staff, like, I need this specimen so I can get this, and there were times where she would always get rid of it before I could. And I would always ask her, I'm like, hey, I just told you I needed that. And she's like, oh, I forgot. And she did it on purpose all the time. And I went to the manager, I'm like, hey, this girl keeps throwing away my specimen. And she's like, oh, let me talk to her. And I remember her talking, she's like, we need them here, like, you need to let them have their specimens. But she was pretty adamant about it. She was trying to tell the staff, like, you need to listen to the text, like, you know, Planned Parenthood needs compensation. The harder and the more valuable the tissue, the more money you get. So if you can somehow procure a brain or a heart, you're going to get more money than just, like, chorionic villi or umbilical cord. That's basically what it is. So that, I guess that's an incentive to try and get the hard stuff, because they get more money. So I remember my first day, I was at the Concord clinic, and it was very early in the morning. I was with one of my trainers, and I walk in, I meet the staff, and I look over in the corner, and there's a little light tray with pie dishes on it. I'm like, okay. And then I see someone come in with a bottle of something, and there was blood in it. I'm like, okay. And then they went over to the sink, and they emptied it out in a strainer and put it on the pie dish and lit it up, and I'm like looking like, what's going on? And my trainer comes over, and she puts on gloves, and she grabs some tweezers, and she's picking the parts away from the vaginal tissue. And I've never had anxiety before this at all. So I'm looking, and I don't know what's going on. I had no idea this was what was going to be happening, especially my first day. And she has tweezers, and she's like, okay, well, this is a head, this is the arm, this is a leg. And then she hands them over. She's like, oh, here you go. Can you show me some of the parts I just showed you? And I grabbed the tweezers. I'm like, because I didn't want to lose this job. I didn't know. I was already stoked to get it. So I did what she said. And the moment I took the tweezers, I put them in the dish. And I remember grabbing a leg, and I said, this is a leg. And the moment I picked it up, I could just feel, like, death and pain. Like, I've never felt that before. Like, shoot up through my body. And I blacked out, basically. They got the smelling salt. I woke up in the recovery room, and looking around, I was really embarrassed, who faints to their first job. And when nurses looks at me, it's like, oh, you're new, huh? I'm like, yeah, don't worry, it still happens to a bunch of us. I'm like, really? It's like, yeah, some of us don't ever get over it. And I remember leaving that day, like, what have I got myself into?
So would you call that intact?
These are intact
Yeah,
kidneys,
okay.
yes. If somebody needed...
Because if I looked at that, I'd be like, that's good to go.
Oh, yeah.
That's like 21.
Yeah.
5 stars.
Yeah, you could start a neural cell culture from this neural tissue right here.
Like, would someone want that?
This?
Yeah. Any of
Yeah,
this?
yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, someone would definitely...
So even at
this is
11
definitely...
weeks, even though it's really early, because I know that's when we talked about
This is
second trimester.
neural tissue that people could take, and look, and you see how it's still connected through the spinal cord back there. If you
Do we just
pull
send that all
pulls back.
together? And they pick it out? Or
You could actually, yeah. Yeah, some people prefer that actually because it keeps it a little more protected. Yeah. That 11.6 was pretty good. There was I mean there was like 3 or 4 samples we could have taken out of the 11.6, so that would be if we were doing like 50 to 75 per specimen, that would be like 200, 300, right? And we'd be comfortable with that. But like so it's like stuff like this, like we don't want to be like just a flat fee of like 200 and then it's like
No, and I think the per item thing works a little better just because we can see how much we can get out of it.
It's really just about if anyone were ever to ask them, well, what do you do for this $60? How can you justify that? Or are you basically just doing something completely egregious that you should be doing for free? I think for affiliates, the end of the day, they're a nonprofit. They just don't want to. They want to break even, and if they can do a little better than break even and do so in a way that seems reasonable, they're happy